Welcome to Larp Academia. Today we're going to talk about what you get as a level 4 bard. Now, the first spell that you get is Amplification. It seems interesting, and that's true with a lot of bard spells. But interesting does not translate always to good. You see, Amplification is a per refresh, like most bard spells, that make it so another person, again, like a lot of cool bard spells, is able to gain extension on their next ability. This is actually kind of cool at first glance, which is going to be a problem. You see, the idea of saying that I can make anyone have extension is something that is really neat. But let's take a look at the actual usefulness and application. All magic classes get extension per life at level 3. Don't use amplification on them. Okay, if you're doing it, it's because they didn't manage it correctly, or you need to have that clutch situation, which it's not really going to happen. It's not dependable. Don't take it for that. What you want to take it for is before the game, you talk to another martial class and you say, hey, you know that ability that you have? Now, I can make it 50 foot. Okay, that's really cool. But let's look at the abilities you can do this to. Warrior Insult. Oh, I can insult you for 50 feet. Okay, that's not great, and you can do that as a bard. You actually have armor now, so it's not really the best option. So why not just give yourself insult? Okay, amplification doesn't really work there. How about we go to Monk? Well, no, they don't have anything. Archer? No, not really. Assassin? They have whole person. Yeah, you really want that to be an extended spell. Okay. So what other classes are there? Oh, I know. There's Barbarian doesn't. Oh, and there is Scout. See, Scout has the only real application. Well, yes, they have whole person. I'm not talking about whole person. I'm talking about dispel magic. Now, if you make a Scout amplified and they dispel magic someone, they have a 50-foot extraordinary dispel magic, which means they can do it with their weapons whenever. It's actually pretty good. So amplification on a Scout's dispel magic, I agree with. I agree with that assessment for taking it. Any other time, not really a good option, especially because it's per refresh. Honestly, it could be per life, and it's still like, should I take this? And that's probably what it should have been, but amplification, a very interesting idea. Unfortunately, interesting does not mean good. Now, as the martial class, we have to have another option to strike instead of just a short sword, and that is the Longsword. Now, you get a Longsword at 4th level, which, I mean, it's better than 4 points at 5th level that a wizard gets. Whoa, but this is it's a lifestyle choice. It's not oh, you must take this weapon like armor or a short sword, which could be replaced by this, or even really a shield, which is kind of a must-take because, you know, you want to save your men's. So long swords, they're good if you want to poke on a front line, if there's a lot of people and it's going to be a big battle where there's going to be just ditch lines and you can swing and attack people. Yeah, a longsword's really good for that. But on smaller battlefields, you want a short sword, and most of the time, you're able to peel people away, or you will be able to peel people away at level 6 because you'll actually be able to play a bard. And a short sword is better one-on-one than a long sword most of the time. And while you can take a long sword, I mean, it's a lifestyle choice. It's definitely not. It's not better than a short sword in every situation by any means, and it's also 4th level magic, which we're already strapped for points, so it is a lifestyle choice. Now, your amazing spell at level 4, well, you get a few good ones, but the amazing spell is Restoration. It's kind of the flip of Amplification. Now, you understand that, well, classes have different amount of per lives. Martial classes, oh, Barbarian, I have 1 brutal strike. Yeah, just empower them if you really want to, or don't bother with it. Who cares? They won't really care anyways. So you want to look at, well, let's look at martial classes that'll actually benefit from this, since Restoration restores all per lives to a person, which is really good. Now, you do it to a Scout, they get quite a few back. You get it to an Assassin, they get like 5, 6, whatever back. You do it to a Caster who expects about 20 points into per lives, they get everything back. So restoration can be amazing. And restoration, well, I'll talk about how to really break the game and make 2 bards and a healer better than 3 healers when we get to a certain enchantment, because I'll talk about how restoration works in conjunction with that. With restoration, though, I would highly recommend that you experience it. If you experience it, yes, I know it's a charge times 10, but that way you are able to make it so that you are always able to refresh people, and you have got that part of the battery covered. We just need to work on charges, which we'll get to later this level. And yes, restoration is that good. The only problem is that you need to actually talk to people and say, hey, for you to know, I can give you restoration. And then you preach about the greatness of restoration to them, that, oh, restoration gives you back all your lives. And then you start to get them thinking like, oh, okay, how can I really break the game? And, well, when we get to another ability later on, we'll talk about how to really break the game. So just make sure you talk to your teammates, and restoration is extremely good. It's just you can't use it on yourself, which sucks. I know. But us bards are weird. We don't understand things, so we just can't have the magic affect us because it's all wibbly wobbly, whatever else anyways. Now, onto an enchantment you can put on others. I mean, our songs are for ourselves, yeah, but enchanting others? I didn't know we could do that. Well, we could with Battlefield Triage, but that doesn't count. That's not really an ability that's considerable. But this one, wow, it's really neat. Sleight of Mind makes it so that if someone is dispelled, they're not dispelled. It's just they only dispel Sleight of Mind. It's a little buffer between that person who has pro-mage and imbue weapons from being stripped naked of all their enchantments. So Sleight of Mind seems really good. Everyone was so excited when it came out. Yeah, look at all the possibilities. But here's the problem. You get a golem. Golems have Superman enchantments. Iron Skin Golem, Flame Blade, Essence Grab. I don't know what I have on me. And you don't want those enchantments gone. But guess what? If they have Essence Craft to get all those enchantments, you can't enchant them with Sleight of Mind. Yay! Okay. Well, what about someone who has like the Pro Mage and an imbue weapon? Well, that's great. They need a tune or they're a scout. And when are they going to get it? Not very often. Also, Dispel Magic is very popular. It's not like Scouts where it's, I have my 1 Dispel Magic. Oh, good counter, good counter. No, Wizards have chargeable Dispel Magic. Druids are able to cast 5 per enchantment. And they can get 20 of those babies where it's just, thou art dispelled, thou art dispelled. If they say Sleight of Mind, it's just, oh, thou art dispelled. So, it doesn't, in practice, it does not do anything what it's intended to do. It doesn't last long enough. It doesn't actually prevent that target. It actually makes them a bigger target. So if they're re-enchanted, then everyone's going to assume that they're just enchanted. And Sleight of Mind, it has a good thought. It really does. It's just that, 1, it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. 2, it doesn't actually fix the problem that it's trying to fix. And 3, bards are already strapped for points. We have nothing, really. We're barely like, oh, wow, we have 20 points. We could maybe play the game now. And Sleight of Mind, even when you're at like 5th or 6th level, it doesn't synergize with other stuff anyways. So it's not a very good option. You won't really want Sleight of Mind. And, I mean, it has a use, but doesn't really. Now, a really cool one. Song of Deflection. Song of Deflection. You sing it, and you are immune to all wounds from projectiles. And that sounds really cool. You're like, oh, I'm immune to projectiles. But wait, think about that for a second. You're immune to wounds from projectiles. Okay, it's not protection from projectiles. And furthermore, I have armor. Armor is my way to heal. So if my armor is hit, then I can mend it. We've been over this at level 2. But if I sing Song of Deflection, and an arrow hits my arm, it's not like my armor is safe. My armor is not me. My armor is not wounded. My armor is broken. My armor takes damage. It's different. So if I sing my Song of Deflection and then an arrow hits my chest, well, either A, my armor is broken, or B, it does actually prevent that wound. Now, you don't want your armor to be broken because then you're vulnerable. You want to mend it. So since you're not going to have just unmended armor, Song of Deflection doesn't really fit. Furthermore, at level 6, when you will finally be able to cast aside this heated, this mini oven of armor, you will then maybe want Song of Deflection. But even then, at that point, let's say you sing your Song of Deflection and you go to block an arrow. You find out, oh wait, that's a pinning arrow. Well, I'm immune to the wound, but I'm stopped. It doesn't stop projectiles, so it's kind of annoying on that front. Now, on the flip side, it does make you immune to normal arrows, which is the most common. There are very few archers out there. And it makes you immune to also throwaways and other things. It allows you also to booty bump projectiles. I have done that before. It is fun to booty bump an arrow. People just say, what, did you seriously? Like, yep, and I'm fine. As you just keep walking by, singing your song and insulting them with your song. It's wonderful to do. And it can be very good if that's your playstyle, where you have no armor and you're level 6. Until then, it's not the best. Even then, it's not perfect. So it's green. It's a good option to consider. It does what it's intended. It's just that what it's intended is not brokenly powerful. Now, speaking of something that is brokenly powerful, we have Song of Power. Now, Song of Power is, without a doubt, your most powerful song when used correctly, because when in Amtgard, if you're able to use teamwork, generally that is more powerful. And you know, it makes sense. It makes sense. Song of Power cuts your allies' charges down in half, rounded down. That means if someone has a charge times 10, that you were going to confidence, because that's quite a bit and that's more than confidence. Well, you can pop on your Song of Power, and they are able to make their charge now charge times 5, which kind of mitigates the need for confidence, but confidence is good if they don't charge, and they're a monk, like, man, I don't even know the charging can't to my resurrect. So there is an argument still for confidence, but that's really it, because I said everything, it cuts it in half, rounded down. A charge times 5 is a charge times 2. A charge times 3 is a charge times 1. This is stupidly powerful, but what makes it even better, aside from it being unlimited, which is why it's also stupidly powerful, is that it affects all your allies within 20 feet. What? This means that if you have 5 healers, my friends, 5 healers, and they are around you, and you sing your Song of Power, you are helping 5 healers at once cut their charges down, which is amazing. It also helps other casters. Let's say I'm a wizard and I want to charge something. Well, it helps them as well. It helps their bards. It is mind-blowingly good. It is the best song that you have power-wise to affect the field. And honestly, that's fair, because it affects other people. It's teamwork orientated, and you're stopped when doing it. I sing this song, well, this is one of the few songs that I'm able to get all the way through my songs with, which is why I have a lot of Songs of Power to actually go through. I'm not going to go through them all when we get to our song videos, just a fraction of them, but you get the idea. Song of Power, you'll be singing it for a while. You can sing it the entire game and still contribute to your team in an important way. Speaking of contributing to your team, think of this. You're a responsible bard. You say, all right, I want to have the battery potential of a bard, so I get experience, restoration, Song of Power. 4 points. There. You're as good as any battery bard will pretty much be. So you then go out there and you see another bard. They're singing Song of Power for the healer. We only have one healer, and our graveyard is piling up. So what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Well, I'll go up there and I will restoration that healer. Now, if you talk to this healer beforehand, they will have 2 innates. You need to talk to them beforehand to get those 2 innates. They'll probably have 2 summon deads. They'll have 2 swifts, and they'll have 2 extensions. So you restoration that healer. They get crack charge, where they go and they just summon someone, swift, resurrect, summon someone, swift, resurrect, and they're innating their resurrect to go through it. And you have this healer go through 3 resurrects in the span of 10 seconds. It's ridiculous if they're a decent healer. And all this time, you're charging your restorations. This is a charge times 5 now instead of a charge times 10, since the other bard's singing Song of Power. And the healer is doing, if they're priests, charge times 1 to get their innate back. They charge up their resurrect. They have the resurrect. They resurrect someone else after they summon dead, after that extra charge as well. And by the time they've gotten 1 resurrect, you can crack charge them again with restoration. So this healer is is resurrecting at a rate that is potentially faster than 3 healers. And we actually did this. We did this, and the other team was wondering, you only have 1 healer. How are you resurrecting so fast? And they were kind of wondering if we were cheating a little bit. It wasn't an accusation of, oh, you're cheating. It's more of a, we don't see viably how this is possible. And it was just confusion there. And if you have 2 bards they're able to make one healer become a crack healer who just goes boom, 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 and get people out of there faster than ever before. And the best part about this is when when your graveyard is pretty much empty, when almost no one's dead, you only spent 4 points on your battery. So you were able to go out, strut your stuff, and actually cast and do other things as well. Have fun with the game. And Restoration and Song of Power, this combination works with just about any build. It's a little strapped at level 4 because you don't have that many points, I know, but it's the way to be a battery bard, and it kind of eliminates that whole archetype of you could spend 30 points as a battery bard and be pretty much useless. Well, you can do the unique abilities of a bard and still be able to contribute to your team instead of just charge people, which really isn't that good anyways. I know that we just went over our songs and you think, Wizzle, the video is done, but there are other spells that are alphabetically lower than songs, 3 of them to be precise, which is odd, I know, but let's cover them. Suppression Aura. I've seen a person try to make a build around this where they try to suppress me as they're a level 4 bard, trying to get through life with, while leveling a bard, and it's terrible. I give them props for this idea, but they try to experience Suppression Aura, and they try to put a lot of points into Suppression Aura and be the suppressing bard against me, who was a level 6 bard. And what did I do to counter this? I just turned to anyone next to me, since 5 out of the classes have release, and I say, hey, can I get a release? Okay, they release me. I'm suppressed for 5 at max 10 seconds, and it's not impressive. In all honesty, break concentration is better, because if we're in a fight and you're casting at me, I can say, you come in this press, and that works. That's actually a counter to you. If we're in a fight and I say, I go for the Suppression Aura line, I don't even want to say it because it's too long to matter. It's ×3. It's just, it doesn't work. It is 50 foot, so you can say, I'm going to snipe that person. But again, if that person is intelligent, like I was, I just turned to the next person next to me and said, hey, can I get a release? They say, okay, and they release you because it's cheap, it's per life. 5 of the classes have it. I'd release them back or mend their stuff back. You know, it's a mutual thing. Teamwork, pretty good. And Suppression Aura doesn't really work. It can work on a small field if you suppress Aura the only 2 casters or 2 people who have release, but that's a very, very unique situation. And this person, I want to say, on a big battle game, tried really hard. They tried to make this work. They tried to suppress me as much as possible. It just didn't matter. That's the problem with Suppression Aura. It's just not a very good spell, and Break Concentration is probably better, even though they're both per refresh. Now, on to your meta magic for this level. Ooh, we have a nice one for you, and that is Swift. Now, Swift allows you to do a lot of things as a bard. If you are going combat bard and you're going out there with armor, you want Swift. Part of the reason why is, let's say that I am singing Song of Battle because I'm trying to go and murder someone who has armor. I am then hit with a pinning arrow. Well, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to Swift from the Mighty Are Released, ha! And then go back and start swinging, or Swift from the Mighty Are Released, I sing in my legendary prowess, ha! Armor breaking, and then you go back into it. And you're able to get through this by saying Swift. Swift also works for armor because it's amazing for basically your heals. Let's say you're hit in the chest, ha! Swift to make the same hole again, ha! And then you bring it back. Well, I mean, it's not as applicable now as it would be at level 6, because then again, you're actually able to play the bard that everyone thinks of as bard, which really kind of should be level 1, because even then it's not really a power spike, but we'll talk about that in the V9 changes. So Swift is amazing. It allows for all these things. It allows you to live and keep going. Swift also can be your get out of jail free card. We'll talk about applying that to a level 5 ability next level, and having that be a way to get out of stuns, well, get out of people casting stun at you, or all these other things that you can't normally escape. So Swift is amazing. It is so important for Bard. It is more important for Bard than it is for any other class. I know I said that with men, but I'm saying that also with Swift, because you are on the front lines. You don't have time to cast or do those extra things. You might need to be just, I need that quick Swift. I need that quick mend, and then boom, you got it. Or I need that quick release, and boom, you got it. So you can actually keep playing, keep living, and keep having a great time instead of just suffering and dying. Now, Terror is an interesting spell. It's basically awe, a little bit longer, reach that is, and it's also death, so it works on barbarians. Now, making it so that it works on barbarians is a interesting and fun addition, since most of your spells are command, if you noticed. So far, only really terror and shove are not command, pretty much. So terror is an interesting option to add to your arsenal, and aw's really good. The only problem is that it is per refresh. Now, this doesn't help Bard because, again, we have a problem with frequency. If we use a spell, it's gone. It's like saying, hey, you have 30 things that you can do in an entire game. Cool. And you're going to spend the majority of them, well, right now it's 20. You have 20 things you can do in an entire game, and the majority of them are spent on your equipment. So you have like 7 that you can actually use. Cool. Once I use that ability, it's gone, and I have 6 more things I can use. Not the best at this point. So per refreshes are very hard to come by, and even if you experience terror, usually it's honestly better to just experience awe, because aw's a lower charge. Awe basically does the same thing, and well, not as much distance, I know, but it still basically does the same thing, and you're charging for less, so you're fighting more and helping your team more. So yes, terror's death, and it has some advantages over awe, and it is good. It is actually a very good option to take later when you can. Just now, not so much. But it does help your problem with having most of your spells be command. So, now that we have covered all the spells for Bard, let's go into the optimized way to play it. And the optimized way to play level 4 is to get your Song of Power, obviously. Your Restoration, obviously you need to experience it. You want 2 Swifts, because Swifts are amazing. And, well, you're going to roll down a point to help pay for that experience restoration, and you're already still strapped for points. Did I say that you're going to get a verbal this time? No, because we don't really have the points to do so. And if you do, you're going to get a per refresh. That'll be just, use that spell by 1 time. That's not very impressive. Crap, well, I gotta keep going out there. While Swift is per life, it keeps you going. Restoration, again, it's experience. Song of Power helps everyone next to you. And it's unlimited, it's amazing. So that is what I would recommend to add to your kit. I mean, still, you don't really have the ability to have options yet, but hey, you'll get there eventually. But you're able to play an actual, well, close to an actual Bard now, manage things a bit better, and have a much better time than you did at level 1. Remember those days? Remember when we were just an advanced peasant? I do. I don't ever want to go back. But until next time, don't forget to like, ring that notification bell so that you can stay up to date, and subscribe so that, well, you can do all those things anyway. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep LARPing, even in these terrible times.